Bonjour et bienvenue. Welcome. Um, Today's topic will be le présent de l'indicatif, how to conjugate verb in the present tense. I've been out for a few weeks. I haven't posted a lot because of the holidays, and I also wanted to use this app, which is called Screencastify, in order to make the lessons a little bit more comprehensive. This lesson, I didn't write it. I This is from a website called Français Facile, but I will copy and paste it and explain it to you in a way that you understand how to use the present tense in French. And then I will explain and break it down a little bit so you have a better understanding. Le présent. À quoi sert-il? Why do we use the present? Le présent de l'indicatif exprime un fait qui se déroule au moment où on rapporte, où on parle. When I went to college, my bachelor's was in French linguistics. Grammar is a big part of language in French, and you have to know grammar, and it has to do most of it has to do with the verbs, but also the nouns, because they have articles and articles have genders, and there's then you go to sentences, sentence structure, and so forth. However, the present is a tense which explains the action in the moment that someone talks. Okay? Le présent exprime un fait qui se déroule au moment où on le rapporte. Il est aussi utilisé pour exprimer une action qui dure, un état, une habitude, des vérités générales. We also use the present to explain an action that's happening. Nous travaillons depuis ce matin. Un état, a state of being, et les sages. Une habitude. Tous les soirs, je me couche à 21h. Des vérités générales. L'eau bout à 100 degrés. So it's used for an action that continues, a state of being, something that is happening habitually, and also some truths that are they cannot be contested. Okay, and they explain a few examples. For the first one, une action qui dure. Nous travaillons depuis ce matin. We work till this morning. Elle est sage. She is wise. Une habitude. Tous les soirs, je me couche à 21h. Every night, I go to bed at 9 o'clock. And the last one is the water boils at 100 degrees, and this is Celsius. Comment le conjuguer? How do we conjugate? Les terminaisons au présent de l'indicatif. Okay, so in here in this chart, and I explained it before about the groups of the verbs in French. It's in one of my videos. We have the verbs of the first group, second group, and third group. Okay, au présent de l'indicatif, we have in the singular, and also we have it in plural. Okay, it's a singular subject pronouns are je, tu, il, elle, on. The plural are nous, vous, il, elle. And then you have the appropriate endings: eese, ist, isit, sst, ds, dsd, xxt. Okay, and then you have the also the plural On, easy, ent, ils sont, ils, ONS, easy, ENT, and so forth. And I will, once we go down the page, I will be able to give you more example. How does it sound when we put these verbs into sentences? Note that there are verbs that end in GER, par exemple, manger, CER, plonger. Well, technically these are ER verbs, but the glitch is that in order to get the sound je and se, we have to modify these by adding in the first person of a plural, nous, we add an extra e. For example, nous plongeons, because if we don't, then it will be nous plongons. It doesn't make sense. And also for lancer, we have to add a ccd, which will facilitate the se sound. Nous lançons. Okay, and there are also verbs that end in WER. Par exemple, ils perdent leur and they use, I'm sorry, I'm speaking half English, half French in here. They lose the Y except for the third person, for the second person of plural. Par exemple, tu paies, tu paies, vous payez. Okay, so nettoyer, tu nettoies, vous nettoyez, and so forth. So all of these I will, go over, because these are like exceptions and not widely used. But right now we're talking about the general rule. So I'm just going to go over a few of them. Verb on ELER and ETER. For example, appeler, jeter. Okay, so these are rules of orthograph. Okay, par exemple, appeler, it's widely used verb. Okay, elle appelle, nous appelons. Okay, as you see by the sound of elle appelle, e before the two L has a sound e, and in front of one L has a sound e. Elle appelle, nous appelons. Okay, jeter, elle jette, we double the T, and then we leave one T in the new form. Elle jette, je jette, tu jettes, il jette, nous jetons, vous jetez, il jette. Mais certains verbes en ELER ne doublent pas la consonne, but some verbs, they don't double the consonants. Acheter, but this is what's happening. Then we add an accent over the E on achète. J'achète, tu achètes, il achète, nous achetons, vous achetez, we take out the accent and we turn it into an E sound. Ils achètent. Je l'ai. Okay, it's a freeze. Ils gèlent. Je gèle, tu gèles, il gèle, nous gelons, and so forth. Pour s'en souvenir, on peut apprendre cette petite histoire du sculpteur. Il achète la terre, il la modèle, la cisèle, la martèle, puis la gèle pour la faire durcir. Okay? And lastly, for the ER verbs, we have verbs on AER, UER, OUER. On n'entend pas la terminaison en personne du singulier. Je plie, tu distribues, on joue. Okay, so the problem with these is the pronunciation. Okay, je plie, tu distribues, on joue. Because we cannot hear the ending So it's just like an exception rule for these verbs that end in er, uer, ouer. Now, for the verbs of the second group, il ne faut pas oublier les SS aux personnes du pluriel. That's the main rule. We always add a double S in the plural form. Par exemple, je finis, tu finis, nous finissons, vous finissez, ils finissent. Third, certains verbes du troisième groupe ont une terminaison différente. And this is for the verbs of third group, which have different endings. Verbs of third group, they're considered irregular. Most of them are irregular. So there's not a way but to memorize how they use. And once you use them often with practice, then you will remember them. For example, vouloir, pouvoir, two widely used verbs because one expresses a desire, the other one expresses a like a possibility or like a can do type of verb. For example, je veux, je peux. Okay, so we have the X, je veux, tu veux. They take the X at the end as la terminaison. Il veut, then we switch from the X to T. And then they completely change the form in the nous. Nous voulons, vous voulez, ils veulent, and so forth. And lastly, les verbes ont DRE, DRE et TRE. Ils conservent leur D ou leur T aux personnes du singulier. Okay, so these types of verbs, when we conjugate them in the present tense, in the first, second, and third person, they keep the D or the T. Je prends, tu prends, il prend. Okay, which is in the third person of singular, they just get rid of the S. Je mets, tu mets, il met. Okay. And les verbes en indre ou soudre se conjuguent normalement en craint, tu ressous. Okay. So these are some verbs that I would like to focus in another day because it's just, the information is a little bit dense at this point. But the main point is, so faire, pouvoir, aller. Okay, so we're going to focus on these three verbs because these are the verbs that I usually teach my class to my students. Mainly faire et aller because they are widely used and it's easier to make sentences with faire et aller than pouvoir. So just to summarize, what do we use the present? In French and in other languages too. The present indicates an action that's happening, a state of being, an habitual or a habit, or a truth that cannot be contested. Okay, and the endings. Do not forget the endings. Okay, what is the best way to learn the endings? There's no best way. You just have to learn them. That's it. And these are some general, or not some general, but these are some exceptions to the verbs in French. It's quite a few, and I don't expect students to memorize them. And if you are French 1 and French 2, some of the irregular verbs that you're supposed to know are, for example, aller, faire, or some verbs like venir, revenir, entrer, and so forth. These are like, some of them are irregular verbs, but some of them are not irregular verbs. So the other verbs, you use them and you learn them as expressions. For example, je veux. je, je veux manger quelque chose. Okay, so without thinking how, uh, what veut is, it's the verb vouloir. Or, je peux écrire, uh, in this case, peut is le verbe pouvoir. Can I write? Okay. Je peux écrire avec un crayon, je sais pas. I don't know. I just used a random example. And this is pretty much, the video might not be like of a high quality because I have not used pictures, but this is pure grammar. And when you teach French, there's no way to escape the grammar. So in the next video, and this is easy for me, but I believe it could be easy for those who follow me. Oh, and I just remember, please subscribe to this channel and like the videos if you like them. Leave comments. If you don't like something, I will not take it personally. I'll do my best to correct that. There's a few things that I like to go on, but this way of